All right, guys, we're going to be talking about Dina Asher-Smith and her chances to defend her title in the 200. Can she do anything in either the 2 or the 1? We'll see. She is the defending world champion. And like I said on previous videos, I never like to count out the defending world champion or even the Olympic champion, but really world champion because it comes so often. The Olympics are every 4 years, so it's a little bit different. But the defending world champion, I usually put a little bit more weight on that because unless they show something like they were injured or something is off with them. And this time around, I got to say, it looks like something is off, right? You got to say that something is off here. But before we get into that, remember, as always, stay blessed, stay rich, and you're watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And this wouldn't be right if I didn't cover where she ranks currently right now. Obviously, she can go higher up in this list, or she may stay the same. But as of now, she, as of June 9th, the best time she's been able to muster out is 22:27 plus 1.3 tailwind in Rome. And that ranks her as tied for 18th, but 18th in the world this year. She's got a long, long way to go up the field. And obviously, all of these athletes that are ranked above her did not make it through the rounds. Sturgis didn't make it through the rounds. Flannel didn't make it through the rounds. But that's how it always is. Every single year, you don't get those athletes to make it through. Brittany Brown, for instance, with a better time than Prandini. Actually, Prandini ran against the wind here. That's very interesting. Against the wind at the USA trials. So, but with a technical better time than Prandini, did not, beat Prandini there to beat her out of that. And then Gabby Thomas obviously was injured, so she didn't make the team at all. So things can happen. Things can happen to take people out. So Dina Asher-Smith, 18th in the world this year. Let's look at her 100. Let's look at her 100. She's down here at number 29. She's got 29 athletes or 28 athletes that are her time as the few athletes that are tied with her or better than what she's doing this year. Now, that doesn't mean everything is bad. Doesn't mean everything is bad. But here's the thing. Last year, she looked at Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price running at 10-6 and was like, yeah, I can win the 100. This year, you don't hear her talking about that. She's more so like, yeah, I'm starting this late in the season because I'm eyeing other championships too. You don't hear this from an athlete that's confident about winning. Say, yeah, I'm eyeing the European Championships, the Commonwealth Games, and things like that. Well, technically speaking, Jamaica's in the Commonwealth Games, so she'll have her rematch for whatever happens at Worlds, whether she wins or not, whether she medals or makes it to the finals or not, at the Commonwealth Games. So you still have many of those nations. The U.S. won't be there. Depending on what the U.S. does, it's just like, well, they're missing. But in the 200. So the Commonwealth Games will still face some of the top athletes in the world. You just won't have all of them. And if Jamaica sweeps, then you could just say, hey, this is the rematch that it was there. And if she beats them, I guess she beats them. But she's eyeing that. She's looking past it. Okay? So what does that mean for her? What does that mean for her for her results this year? Well, I say there are people in the comment section saying that she's not even going to medal. Oh, and by the way, when she was looking at Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price last year, saying that, hey, you know what? I can still win after she ran that 10-6. That was after she ran the 10-6. You know what? Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price was just like, yeah, I got this. Right? Like, yeah, bring it. She said, bring it. She said, bring it. So, Dina Asher-Smith unfortunately got a hamstring injury, and that really stunted her growth. You can tell that stunted her growth a lot because she was going on an upwards trajectory. She typically runs near her PR or at her PRs at the championships, at her PR as in a new PR, but she didn't even get a chance to do that last year. And right now, she's not looking as good, as sharp. And that's because she's in early season training. She's probably like, look, and this is the thing, taking a long approach. Dina Asher-Smith is probably like, okay, it's world championships every year. I'm looking at the next world championship. Sure is here. I'm the defending champion, but for my health and my hamstring, like I can't do what I can't do. So I need to look at these championships that I can do something in, do the best I can at the world championships, and then look at the next one. I'm just going to take the next one, assuming I don't get injured. And remember, Dina Asher-Smith was injured when she was younger. So here's yet another athlete that has a lot of potential, but she's injury prone. I look at her as injury prone because she's gotten injured so many times. You got Elaine Thompson-Herah. She's very injury prone. Dina Asher-Smith is injury prone. Gabby Thomas is injury prone. So you got female athletes that are really talented, but I mean, anything can happen. And like I said, you wouldn't say, well, you know, Dina Asher-Smith only loses because she gets injured. Y'all don't do that. The Elaine Thompson-Herah fans would just say she only loses when she's injured, even when she tells you she's not. Like 2017 and this year, she's like, yeah, I'm injury free, whatever. And then yet they're like, yeah, Elaine Thompson-Herah was injured. That's why she lost against Sharika Jackson. No. So anyway, let me get back to here. This is what I want to say on this, ultimately. Dina Asher-Smith is not her 2019 self. Unless something happens, anything can happen. Other athletes could pull up. Sharika Jackson, somebody could pull a Sharika Jackson and just kind of like space out in the first or second round and they don't make it through to the final. Whatever happens, things can happen. Just like so many people were saying, hey, it was weak this year. They weren't the top competitors competing in the 200. Other ones were injured. It doesn't matter what reason they're not there. At the end of the day, world champion is world champion. You get your, $60,000? And then whatever happens with your sponsors, hey, you're the world champion. Now, you would like to have the best of the best in the world to compete, but Dina Asher-Smith didn't run a slouch time. Let's look at that. 21.88, right? She ran a 21.88 to win, and that would have won her quite a few world championship titles and Olympic titles, mind you, in the 200. So given any year, sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's not. And then also her 10.83, that would have won quite a few 100-meter titles. But, hey, now, what is she going to do this season? She's just ultimately, is she going to even medal? Will she make the final? The way I look at it right now, with how stacked this field is, I got to be honest. Let's count this. Sharika Jackson, unless something happens, false start, pull up, space out, she's going to be there. Abby Steiner, she's going to at least be there within the first or second round. That's pretty much almost a given. According to how she's running right now, she's going to be there. Running against a negative win versus no win. These times right here, yeah. Mboma is not going to be there. Clark, she's gonna do what she needs to do. Will she make the finals? That's going to be a good question. Favor Ofeli's going to be there. People are sleeping on her. Looking at everybody that's there. Prandini, will she make it? Brittany Brown is not there. Gabby Thomas isn't there. Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. She's almost certainly going to make the final. But if she wins the 100, I doubt she runs the 200. I really highly doubt she runs the 200. So that might be a spot opened up. Shanae Miller-Weibo is going to be competing in this. So the way I look at this, the weakest link she got in here, the weakest link would be Clark and Prandini on this list. I got to say, those are the two weakest links that she got to face up against. And then technically you could say Steiner, but it's hard to say that she won't make the final. She's kind of like the Fred Curley, where he was running either the top time or the second best time coming into world championships back in 2017, I think. 2017, maybe 2015. But he came in 2017, I think, and he was coming in with the first or second time. He made it to the final, and then he got seventh. He made it to the final, then got seventh in the 400. So I can still see her making the final. It will be a surprise to me if she doesn't. Now, what she does, whether she medals or not, that's a different question. I don't really know if she can even I mean, Kambunji always seems to be able to make it. You got Talu that's gonna almost certainly gonna be there. So when we look at this list, Dina Asher-Smith might not even make the final of the 200. She's got so many other top 200 meter athletes. It's in the US. It's not in the same element necessarily that she's in, but like the cold weather and whatnot. I gotta say, she's probably gonna struggle to make the final. And if she does make the final, I'm giving her 6th or 7th. Some people are calling her 5th. I'm giving her 6th or 7th. She knows how to run when the time is right. So her, at best, she's getting bronze. At best, she's getting bronze. And that's my 2 out of 10 perception. Every other time, she's either not going to make the final, or, and that's if she puts all her eggs in the 200 and she's rested up from the 100, right? She doesn't run the 100 and she only runs the 200 fully rested, then I'm going to say she makes the final. If she runs the 100, then that's going to be a big question mark to me. But if she does make the final, she's going to get 6th or 7th. She's going to get 6th or 7th because she's probably going to be in one of the outside or inside lanes. She's going to run a curve that's too tight. And because of how this is, she's going to need the lane like 5, 6, or 7. Maybe 4 she can deal with. 3, like Noah Lyles was doing, she's going to have to be one of the top 200 meter athletes already. Somebody that's already a top 200 athlete can run and be inhibited in lane 3. Obviously, somebody in lane 1, they got to be one of the best, and they just flubbed up. Like, I can see Elaine Thompson-Herah, Sharika Jackson, one of those 2 athletes being in lane 1 and still being able to at least medal or even win. It's going to be a lot harder with that tight curve. But Dina Asher-Smith, if she's placed in 3 or under, or in the outside lane, she's definitely not going to be able to do anything. She's definitely, or 3 inside lanes. Outside lane may actually favor her a little bit, running blind and just running all out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, because I really don't have confidence that she's going to do it after she said her statement about focusing on the Commonwealth Games and the European Championships. She's like, yeah, we got 3 championships this year. I'm going for those. And remember, she does stay in Europe. Her money is coming from Great Britain. Okay? Her money's there. So if you think about it, her performing well in the United States on a world stage where a lot of people from the US are looking, the Europeans are going to be looking at that, but they're also going to be looking at the European Championships. They're also going to be looking at the Commonwealth Games, but especially European Championships. World Championships, yeah, whatever, right? To her core audience. You got to think about that. You got to think and consider that she's appealing to her core audience. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, look at these teams right here. When it comes to 3 USA athletes and then a Great Britain athlete right there, she's living in Britain, and that's where her bread and butter is. So she needs to show up and show out for Europe and be the entertainment factor there and do some damage and win. Because remember, she just lost against Neda. If she's losing against her in London, imagine what's going to happen when they go back to, is it Berlin again? And she may lose against her again. Some of the attention and the star power that she's commanding will go to her teammate. Now, her teammate may make the final in the 100, who knows? And she may not make the final. So at the world stage, that still could take away from it. But I'm going to say sponsorship-wise and local-wise, you got to look good. Remember, Sha'Carri Richardson, to bring her into the conversation, doing well against the USA athletes, but then doing nothing, absolutely nothing internationally, can still get her more money than her, showing up internationally. Let's reverse this and say that the World Championships were somewhere else and then they had some North American games, but it was hosted in the US, and then she shows up in the US and does nothing. She could go out and, let's say, place a medal or even make the finals, right? Let's say that happens to Dina Asher-Smith. She makes the finals with this, but then does nothing at the European Championships. It'll do nothing for her. So that's what I'm looking at it right here. You place it with another athlete. If there was the Caribbean Games, the Carifta Games, right? If you're doing good on the world stage, and then you come back home and then you do nothing to your local people, yeah, sure, you did that, but I mean, the fans, if they're actually coming out and seeing it, they're like, wow, this person just ran. Some people don't even watch those. They just like, let me just check out the local stuff. And that's just how it is. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. That's what I got today. I'm going to do a video on Christine Mboma and then Beatrice Massalingi. And that's going to be the next video if I don't do it on No Allows. And it's going to be up here in either the left or the right hand corner, wherever YouTube kind of decides to play around with it. Catch you all in the next one. Peace.